I cannot believe that the end of 2020 is right around the corner. There have been a lot of amazing games released for the Nintendo Switch this year, and in today's video I'm going to go over several awesome games coming out to the Nintendo Switch in December 2020. So let's go ahead and get into it. Releasing December 1st for $39.99 both digitally and physically is a game called Empire of Sin. Empire of Sin is a turn-based strategy RPG set in 1920 Chicago where you take on the role of various mob bosses and build criminal empires. You will choose one of 14 crime bosses and build, manage, and defend your empire. Utilize the shady economy of Chicago from that era to build and manage businesses, casinos, and more. Engage in gang shootouts and turn-based strategy combat using a variety of weapons from that era. Empire of Sin looks to be a pretty interesting strategy RPG with some sim elements, and I love the theme, and you can check it out when it releases on December 1st. Again on December 1st, releasing digitally and physically for $29.99 is a game called Chronos Before the Ashes. Chronos Before the Ashes is a prequel to Remnant from the Ashes and is an atmospheric action RPG where you set out to save the land from evil. Chronos Before the Ashes is a huge adventure with RPG mechanics and a deep combat system utilizing a large variety of weapons, powers, and abilities. It features a unique aging mechanic where when you die, your character ages by 1 year, requiring you to adapt to your new age as you progress, thus changing the way you play throughout the game. The combat is primarily melee and timed dodges, parries, and counterattacks, and there are also puzzles throughout the game and difficult boss fights. Chronos Before the Ashes looks absolutely badass, and this is a game I certainly have my eyes on as it looks like a combination of Zelda and Dark Souls, and I cannot wait to try it out when it releases on December 1st. Releasing December 2nd, digitally only for $19.99 is Sam & Max Save the World. Sam & Max Save the World was the first full episodic game from Telltale Games, originally released in 2006, and now we are getting the remastered version of the first season on the Nintendo Switch. Sam & Max get caught in the middle of a massive conspiracy involving hypnotized child stars as they set out to do some detective work and figure out what is going on. This is a classic adventure game and contains enhanced graphics, Joy-Con and touchscreen support, 5 new musical tracks, and it is full of puzzles and humor. So if you like games from the Telltale series, then you will likely enjoy Sam & Max Save the World when it releases on December 2nd. Also on December 2nd, releasing digitally only for $19.99 is Shearing the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate. Shearing the Wanderer is a roguelike adventure where you take on the role of Sheeran as you set out with your sidekick Copa to take on the Tower of Fortune. You will be navigating a world full of monsters, traps, and treasure as you explore the mysterious dungeons that will be different each time you play, requiring you to adapt to new strategies and skills to succeed. One thing that really caught my eye are the visuals, as they really remind me of a Super Nintendo game with the awesome old school looking 16-bit pixel art graphics. Shearing the Wonder, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate looks to be a pretty fun dungeon crawling roguelike with some retro inspiration, and you can check it out when it releases on December 2nd. On December 3rd, releasing digitally and physically for $59.99 is a game called Immortals Phoenix Rising. Immortals Phoenix Rising is Ubisoft's Breath of the Wild clone, but with some unique mechanics added. You take on the role of a winged demigod named Phoenix as you set out to save the Greek gods and the world. You will be able to utilize the gods' powers, such as Achilles' sword, to engage in combat against mythological beasts like Medusa, and also to solve puzzles and explore massive, completely open worlds split into 7 different regions. You can engage in combat both in the air and on the ground with a large arsenal of skills and weapons. I have been looking forward to Immortals Phoenix Rising all year, and I have it pre-ordered. This is a day one purchase for me, and I'm excited to spend countless hours in the huge world when it releases on December 3rd. Also on December 3rd, releasing digitally only for $12.99 is a game called Outbreak The New Nightmare. Outbreak The New Nightmare is an old school style survival game heavily inspired by Resident Evil, where you and other survivors try to survive the zombie apocalypse. You can play the entire game solo or local split screen co-op with a friend. You will need to search the environment for supplies, explore, solve puzzles, and fight a variety of creatures in order to survive. If you are a fan of Resident Evil or other old school survival horror games, then Outbreak The New Nightmare should scratch that survival horror itch when it releases on December 3rd. Again, on December 3rd is a game called Fogs, and I do not have a price. If you know the price, let me know that in the comments down below. Fogs is a 3D puzzle adventure game where you play as a two-headed dog linked together with a stretchy belly. There are 3 different worlds to explore as you stretch, bark, bite, and bounce through a ton of puzzles. You can play Fogs solo or with a friend in local co-op. Fogs looks pretty fun to me and looks like a physics puzzle-based 3D platformer, and it is very colorful and goofy looking, but in a good way. So grab a friend and get ready for a fun and unique adventure when Fogs releases on December 3rd. Again, on December 3rd, releasing digitally only for $9.99 is Death Tales. Death Tales is a 2D adventure game where you take on the role of the new Reaper who has gone rogue. You'll be collecting over 40 pieces of equipment, acquiring spells, learning new attacks, completing quests, and fighting hordes of enemies as you make your way through the beautifully illustrated world. You can play Death Tales alone or local co-op with a friend as well, and Death Tales contains 30 levels with a variety of side quests to take on, as well as abilities like Fireball, freezing enemies, and Angel Wings for gliding. Death Tales has a gorgeous art style and looks like a really fun game to check out when it releases on December 3rd. Yet again, on December 3rd, releasing digitally only for $24.99 is Morbid The 7 Acolytes. Morbid The 7 Acolytes is a horror punk action RPG inspired by Lovecraft and Cronenberg, and it is also an isometric Souls-like game. You take on the role of the last surviving striver, and your duty is to kill the 7 acolytes who are very powerful beings. Throughout the game, you will fight enemies, mini-bosses, and huge boss fights with fully orchestrated music, all while improving your character, finding gear, and completing quests and looting. There are many diverse environments to explore and NPCs to interact with, and the leveling system features perks. Just like in any Souls games, you have to manage your health and stamina, but you also have to manage your sanity. Morbid The 7 Acolytes looks like a badass retro-style Souls-like game, and I'm actually looking forward to playing this one when it releases on December 3rd. Yet again on December 3rd, releasing digitally only for $14.99 is Wildfire. Wildfire is a 2D stealth game where you attempt to take your home back and rescue villagers by using elemental powers such as water, fire, and earth to manipulate the environment and defeat your enemies. You will be exploring forests, caves, and mountains as you set out to save your people. You have elemental abilities such as throwing fireballs, freezing water, or moving earth, and these abilities will help you overcome the enemies who are hunting you down. You can also play co-op locally with a friend and combine your elemental powers for an even cooler effect. Wildfire looks like a very unique and high quality indie game, and I have my eye on this potential gem of a game when it releases on December 3rd. On December 4th, releasing digitally and physically for $49.99 is Fitness Boxing 2 Rhythm and Exercise, and there's also a demo available on the eShop right now. Fitness Boxing 2 Rhythm and Exercise is a rhythm exercise game that primarily uses boxing moves to the rhythm of a song. You will jab, uppercut, dodge, and much more to the beat. You can customize your trainer, customize your workout to suit your needs, and also gain rewards to unlock more in-game cosmetics. You can also play Fitness Boxing 2 with a friend or family member in a 2-player workout mode. There are songs from a variety of artists such as Bon Jovi, Steppenwolf, and Katy Perry. So get ready to box to the beat and get some exercise when Fitness Boxing 2 Rhythm and Exercise releases on December 4th. Again, on December 4th is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, releasing digitally only for $5.99. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light is coming to the West for the first time on the Nintendo Switch, as you can play through all 25 chapters of this 8-bit Famicom classic tactical RPG. You get to take on the role of Marth and choose from over 50 different playable characters using the gameplay that started the Fire Emblem series. Choose your units and classes carefully for each mission, and even potentially get new characters recruited during battle. This version of the game features save states and a rewind feature if you lose your favorite character and want to save them. Prepare for some classic tactical RPG badassery when Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light releases on December 4th. Again on December 4th, releasing digitally only for $19.99 is John Wick Hex. John Wick Hex is an action-based strategy game with the goal of making you think and feel like John Wick in the game. It has been described by the developers as fight choreographed chess, as it utilizes strategic time-based actions. As you progress in the story mode, you will unlock weapons, suits, and locations, and each weapon requires new tactics and ammo is limited. At first, I'll admit I was skeptical about making a John Wick game into a strategy game, but after watching a gameplay trailer explaining how it works, I'm actually sold on the idea. So get ready to become the Baba Yaga himself when John Wick Hex releases on December 4th. Yet again on December 4th is Paw Paw Paw, releasing digitally only for $9.99. Paw 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 is a beat-em-up hack and slash where you play as a group of animals that form a resistance to fight back against the king who has decided everyone must wear pants. Yeah, it's pretty silly. In Paw Paw Paw, you can play local co-op with up to 4 players as you fight your way through each level. You can level up your character as you progress and expand a skill tree and unlock new combos. You will also find and loot new weapons as well as hire companions to help in battle. Paw 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 looks like a silly, fun little hack and slash that almost gives off some Castle Crasher vibes, and you can grab some friends and play it when it releases on December 4th. On December 8th, releasing digitally only for $19.99 is Monster Sanctuary. Per the developers, Monster Sanctuary is monster taming meets Metroidvania. Collect, train, and battle monsters in a lovely side-view pixel world. In Monster Sanctuary, you go on a huge adventure collecting monsters and building a team, all while slowly exploring the world while on a quest to become the ultimate monster keeper. The monsters you collect give you powers that enable you to explore more of the world, which is where the Metroidvania aspect comes into the game. Every monster has a unique skill tree to work through, and in combat you engage in tactical 3-on-3 battles. There's also a PvP mode where you can battle your friends. Monster Sanctuary looks like a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania version of Pokemon, and I think that sounds interesting, and we can check it out when it releases on December 8th. Also on December 8th, releasing digitally and physically for $39.99 is Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Puyo Puyo Tetris is back again with a sequel to the popular puzzle game Combo. Just like in the original, you can play Puyo Puyo, Tetris, or a hybrid version of both, and you can play online and offline in a variety of modes, as well as partake in a single-player adventure. There are brand new character-based battle skills to utilize and item cards to power up your team. The online mode has been improved to include game leagues and free play for up to 4 players. There are also some challenge modes such as endless mode for even more variety. So grab some friends and get ready for some falling block puzzle action when Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 releases on December 8th. On December 9th, releasing digitally only for $29.99 is a really cool looking game called Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner is a super fast-paced cyberpunk first-person platformer slasher where you are trying to climb to the top of the Dharma Tower to exact revenge on the Keymaster. Throughout the adventure, you will be slicing enemies, dodging bullets, and using your techniques in the one-hit kill combat, which is super fast and intense. There are frequent checkpoints, and your superior mobility creates a very fluid experience. I really like the looks of this game, and it looks like a game where you can pull off some cool moves once you really get good, and I'm looking forward to trying out Ghost Runner when it releases on December 9th. On December 10th, releasing digitally only for $19.99 is Evolution Board Game. I'm a huge fan of both board games and card games, and I'm always intrigued when I see a digital version of a tabletop game pop up, especially on the Switch. Evolution is a board game all about adapting your species for survival while staying ahead of your opponent's species. It won Best Digital Board Game of the Year from both Ars Technica and Vulture. Some of the features include a single-player campaign against an AI with 21 levels, online multiplayer, a friend system with chat, online rankings, a pass and play mode, weekly challenges, an interactive tutorial, and beautiful hand-drawn art. So fans of board games, get ready when Evolution Board Game releases on December 10th. On December 15th, releasing digitally only for $19.99 is Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend celebrates the 30th anniversary of the Saga RPG series from the Game Boy, with Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3 all in one package. There are additional features added such as the high-speed mode, screen magnification, game screen background customization, the ability to play it vertically in handheld mode to emulate a Game Boy, and more. So get ready to relive these Game Boy RPG classics when Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend releases on December 15th. And the final game, I don't have a price or a release date for you, I just know it's coming out in December, and that is Sword of the Necromancer. If you know the price and release date, let me know that in the comments down below. Sword of the Necromancer is a retro-style roguelike dungeon crawling action RPG inspired by games like Enter the Gungeon and Zelda games like A Link to the Past. When you defeat enemies, you can revive them to fight with you using the Sword of the Necromancer, and your enemies will become your allies. So as you progress in a run, you will amass an army of monsters, acquire and equip various weapons and relics, and level up. When you level up, you can upgrade your stats and improve your monsters. You can also play locally with a friend, which is awesome. Sword of the Necromancer gives off the vibe of a Super Nintendo game with modern mechanics added, and I can't wait to try it out when it releases sometime in December. So there you have it, folks, a pretty fine selection of games coming out on the Switch in December 2020. Some of my most anticipated games for December for the Switch are Chronos Before the Ashes, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Morbid The 7 Acolytes, Wick Hex, and Ghost Runner. But I want to know in the comments down below, what are some of your most anticipated games for the Switch in December 2020. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any games releasing in December that I should have covered in today's video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing so that you can join the Retro Wolf family. And as always, folks, stay safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Later.